G'day. I bought a table saw this week. It's a pretty big deal for this little workshop. Problem is, I don't know where to put it.
Where do you live?
I thought about chucking it on the wall, but it's too impractical. Then I thought, maybe I can lower it off the ceiling on these pulleys, but it was just way too heavy. So I figured the best option would be to build a small trolley to live at the end of my bench. First thing to do is to measure the bench and the saw. I had some spare sheets of ply, so I measured them too. It doesn't matter for this project that the plywood isn't the same. I did a quick sketch of how I think it will work. Basically, it's going to be an open box with a shelf or two and some side panels which fold down when not in use. Then over to SketchUp to figure out the nitty-gritty and get a cutting list going to see if I even have enough wood. Turns out I don't. So everything just got a little bit smaller. I first trimmed the plywood down to a more manageable size. I was able to get almost all of the pieces that I needed, with the exception of that side support. But I don't think I really need that. Now I can finally use the saw, and it works great. I don't recommend the janky support panel at the back. You're better off just making this trolley. Although this saw is pretty accurate, it pays to double check your cut dimension. Cut twice and measure once, or is it cut and measure twice before building some, I don't know. Someone said to me once, you can lead a horse to water, but can't cut angles on a table saw. Well, I'm pretty sure you can. But I do prefer this way. I also prefer it when my battery runs out mid-cut. There's nothing more satisfying than reloading a fresh battery. So although I'd measured everything, it's always best to take your stuff straight to the thing you're trying to cut around. In saying that, I did this 3 times. And with the magic of editing, it looks pretty good. The saw itself weighs 34 kilos, so I'm adding the support rail to stiffen the shelf up. I do find the best way to keep things 90 degrees is by dropping your square. Ain't nothing to it but to screw it. Some people say you should pin and glue and screw, but I want to reuse this plywood in the future, so screws will be fine. One thing I found really difficult here was working on the floor, which I don't usually do. But because the camera is on my workbench, I had to figure out how to get things level, and as you can see, it was a bit of a struggle, but we got there. Now I swear I know how to make things, and generally I'm pretty good at it, but the pressure of filming and making got to me and I screwed the sides wrong. Now I look at it like this, and I point to that and then to that, and I think about it. One side is definitely in the wrong spot. So just to confuse everyone, I unscrewed the perfectly good side, shifted it around, and then screwed it right back to where it went. And then moved on to the other side and fixed it all up. So everything fits pretty well and the saw just squeezes in, but there's zero tolerance. Which is great because this is fine furniture and wood doesn't move. Now I do find Lego wheels are quite useful for lots of things in the workshop, but not for this purpose. I actually don't know why I have so many wheels, but they do come in handy. Everyone should have a wheel basket. I chuck the wheels on the edge so I can lock them really easily with my feet. And voila, we now have a very modern and heaps comfy chair. After tracing around a circle, because it's fun to trace around circles, I drew an even bigger one, which will make the opening for the dust port. Because the opening is at the back, it's more of a she'll be right kind of approach. And as you can see, it gets the job done. Next was to work on the back support now that everything was sliding smoothly. This will give me the option to cut much longer stock without it slipping off the back, and potentially ripping my arm off. The humble hinge works great for this. Now that I knew this was working, I screwed in the supports with hinges so they can fold out of the way.
Well, I know, but I just didn't think it was valuable. Just like, I never knew. Like, you just don't know, because these things are expensive, like $4,000. You want to know that you're getting sick.
Because I work on the street, I get a lot of people poking their head in. There's even a sausage dog which comes in just to bark at me and then leaves. Which reminds me of a rude joke. How do you get a sausage dog to go meow? I'll let you figure that one out. To fix the back support, I pre-drilled a few pilot holes and countersunk the screws so the material could pass over smoothly. It helps to put your bits in the drill properly though. And there you have it, a perfectly average but very functional saw trolley. There are many like it, but this one is mine.